That's Hunter.
So you guys asked about my hip hop, R&B drum setup and everything like that. So let's get right into it. On the kick, we're using the Audix F6. So this is the Audix F series pack, and this kick is a 22-inch kick. This is a Sonar AQ2 kit. And this is all maple wood. So I have the reso off completely. I just put some towels in here to get more of an open, transparent sound. I'm using the compressor. This is brass snare. This is a 14 by 6.5, and I pretty much crank this pretty tight to get that Chris Daddy Dave vibe. Using the SM57, and I have it going at like this 90-degree angle, so I can capture a lot of the attack. And then my strategy is all in this bottom snare mic. This is basically the snare mic that comes in that Audix mic drum mic pack. Strategy here is capturing a lot of the bottom head resonance more so than the top. So on the other side of the kick, we have this pillow beater to give us a soft vibe. And the reason why is I want to have the contrast of a nice mellow punchy kick with a cranked attack snare, and that contrast actually makes it sound like the snare is hitting harder because you've reduced the clickiness of the beater by using something like this. So you can get this at Guitar Center or something like that. So since we're on the subject of the kick and snare, I've seen this strategy by so many great drummers and engineers. But basically this is a AKG 414 XLS, and this is a very versatile mic. I'm capturing the resonance of the bottom snare and getting a little bit of the kick combined with this mic, and I can smash this, and we'll talk about this more on the mixing side. For the toms, as you can see, and the snare, I use towels on everything, on all the toms, because I really want like a crazy damp old school sound. So you can get these towels from Target. Same thing here, 90-degree angle on the drum. We have a different mic here, but this right here is the Electro Voice kick drum mic, and I'll list all these mics in the description. Same thing, 90-degree angle. Then we have a Beta 52 from Shure on this tom, and this is a 14 by 13 tom, and this is a 16 by 15 inch tom. Over on the hats, we have the HHX Evolutions. These are 14 inches from Sabian. And on the mic, we have another Electro Voice. This is an ND66. This does a really good job of capturing the hi-hats how I want to have them warm and crispy instead of cold and crispy. The cymbals, I'm using a Dark Crash Custom Special from Zildjian. This is an 18-inch Pergamon Haka cymbal. I think this is another 18-inch. We got another Haka right over here, Ride, 21-inch. We got a 19-inch. And then we have another Evolution Ozone 18-inch from Sabian. And the overhead mic choice is the Samson CO2s. I have two of these, one here and then one here. And so my placement choice is to get a very wide sound. So if you can tell from the side here, they're pretty spread apart. My strategy is I just want it wide. They are not perpendicular, but in Logic, we can use the gain tool and flip the phase on these and get these back to where they need to be. We have another mic on the Ride. We have the AKG P170. Same thing, 90-degree, and that captures my Ride. So my whole strategy with this setup is hip hop. I'm thinking more direct. I don't want a rock sound or a gospel sound. I want everything close on the sources so I can get a nice tight sound. All right, now that we got that out the way, let's go into the mix side. Here's what it sounds like dry. My recording levels are decent. I'm just making sure that I'm not clipping. On my X32, those levels are different than Logic Pro's levels, or metering, shall I say. About -12, -18, that's a good sweet spot for the X32. So what I love to use on my drums is the SSL G channel. So we're gonna turn this on now and let's see what we get. We're really getting some nice lows. We're bumping up some lows here. Then we're getting rid of the boxiness over in here in this area in the low mid frequencies. So I'm getting some nice compression in here, and then I'm using the expand features in here. Instead of using the gate, I love to use expanders because it's smoother. When the gate closes, it's more like a fade out and a fade in. So let's go to the snare top. All right, let's turn it off. On. I'm getting some nice compression. The compression is very transparent on this setting because I want that pop. And then on the snare bottom, remember I told you about the gain tools. The gain tool is on the snare bottom. Flip the phase on that. The gain tool is also on the overheads, left and right, and the ride cymbal. So that's how we're in phase. For our Logic users, if you don't know where the gain tool is, just go over to your plugin settings, go all the way down to utility, and then go to gain and put it on mono for mono signal. And then once you do so, you can click it, boom, click this phase invert button, and you'll be all set to go. And then we also have the G channel on the bottom as well. And this is giving us that same vibe from the top snare, but this is like really smashed. The transients are just being shaved off because I want all the attack to come from the top snare. So together you get this. Then we have the kick auxiliary kind of mic setup where it's picking up the kick and the snare. I basically compressed it a lot using the CLA2A, and that sounds like this so far. And again, it's just giving us that tight sound, that hip hop R&B sound. So then we have our toms. You guys are kind of catching my pattern. I use the G channel on all of the toms. All right, and then without the plugins, it just sounds like this. All right, so we just kind of cleaned them up a little bit, got rid of the boxiness and the low mid frequencies. I did use this for each individual tom. Notice there's a subtle difference with tom 4 compared to tom 3 and tom 5. It's not as bright as the other toms. That's because we use that electro voice mic. So one shoe does not fit all. You have to make adjustments based on how things sound. So what I had to do was I added an API plugin, and I just used this to get more top end on that particular tom or tom 4. Now it sounds like this. Now they all sound similar. Now we're gonna move on to the hats. So I'm using the Slate Digital virtual mix rack. And so this is giving us some nice little color going in. I have it on the Brit 4K E setting. The drive is up to like 6 dB or so. And I have the input and output link to keep it level and all of that. So that's giving us some nice saturation. Not really using the API. I am using the Neve to just roll off some low end. Then we have the compressor. This is the main ingredient of this chain. And that's the FG401. And this is giving us some nice juicy compression to keep that hi-hat in check. So when I open up that hi-hat, it doesn't pierce your ears. So we're gonna go into the overheads now, and then we have the Pro Q3. It's just rolling off some low end, so nothing special. So you see I'm getting a nice capture of the whole kit. Now watch when I add on the virtual mix rack, how that's gonna really make this transparent. So a lot of that beef and juice is coming from the custom opto compressor. This is giving us a whole vibe. Let's turn this off. Turn it on. It just makes it sound like, yeah. I just added some brightness on the overheads, believe it or not, because my cymbals are, remember, dark. So far in context, we have this.
Yo, that's how they already know the state of sleep. I've been putting up when I flex. Everybody can't always stay the shit.
Now on the drum bus, we're gonna start off with some EQ to tame everything. We don't need anything below 23 hertz on the drum bus. I also bumped up some 1K, like 1100, because I wanted to balance out the rest of the kit. So you see on the graph, we don't have a lot of this 1K area. Then we compress that. So it's just keeping the drums in check, just gluing everything together. Like I want that snare and the diddles to be highlighted. So now to the plugin that no one wants you to know about, and that is the Oxford Inflator. This will take anything from vocals, drums, you name it, and give it sonics. See how it's adding a little bit of that distortion, which is beautiful. It's harmonic distortions. All right, then last but not least, I put a limiter on the drum kit. This is allowing me to tame those transients coming in. So it's just taming all of that stuff so I can get a louder mix. So if you want to know more about mixing drums, I have 2 really good videos for you fired up over here, and I will see you over there.